Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Okay, good evening. We have to serve dinner na ata. Masyado nang pagod na yung mga tao. Good evening, everyone. Alright, hello. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for taking the time to spend the afternoon with us. Actually, I know a number of you. It's really important that bloggers help us out with this advocacy. We've actually done the traditional media already the previous time, and I think it's great that we're reaching out to a lot of bloggers also. You know, one of the main audience of this campaign actually is also your audience, no? So, yung audience ng campaign pong ito, you know, when last July, actually I spoke to Mylene about, I think it was May 2009, when we started to talk about this campaign. When we first talked, the idea was to get a lot of young professionals, young families, young employees to actually start thinking about their financial freedom and financial literacy. And tama-tama, yung audience po na yun are also practically your audience as well. A lot of them would have a good intersection with the people who read your blogs. The idea was in May, and it's still the idea now, is that when you talk about financial literacy, very few Filipinos actually are aware of their own situation when it comes to their finances. Very few actually are able to say na month on month, I'm able to reach my financial goals. In fact, I think very few actually have financial goals. No? And with regard to my work, actually some of you have written about my work already. It really deals a lot with underprivileged women, mostly in the countryside, some here in NCR, that's with Aquino and with Rags to Riches. And that was at a time in my life when I had already left media or had really lessened my time in media. And when Mylene met with me and we talked about this campaign, it really fit perfectly kasi we started to help a lot of women in the countryside with their own financial planning through microfinance, through microenterprise. And a lot of the things that she said about mga Pinoy na hindi tayo prepared talaga financially really fit. And even though this particular audience was really for more upwardly mobile professionals and young families, no, hindi siya kapareho dun sa mga kausap ko on a day-to-day who are really underprivileged women. We saw that there was such a big intersection with what we wanted to talk about, which was that as a Filipino, if you're able to make financial goals, if you're able to talk to someone who knows, who can give sound advice about finances, you can actually eventually achieve a state where you're financially free and a state where you're financially okay. If you look at the data that Mylene told you, very few Filipinos actually can really say na okay sila with their finances. And it's the same with a lot of my friends. Most of the time, people my age or even younger, most of the time spend more than they actually earn on a month-on-month basis, no? Marami sa atin, hindi naman siguro lubog sa utang sa credit card, but kahit pa paano, we have a hard time meeting all of the payments. It's easy for us to spend more than we earn, to be very frank. With all of the schemes out there, mas madali to actually live outside of your means. But you know, if you take the time to just look at your finances, maybe go to the booth, talk to an agent, you'll actually be able to find that there is a way out of this rut. There is a way actually to get that point where you can actually start investing wisely. And the whole idea of my part of the advocacy is savings actually is something that we need to do. Savings is actually not very hard as long as may konting disiplina, may konting pagpaplano. You can actually make it a habit of yours. And the idea is, if you save just a little every time, as long as it's regular, you'll eventually be able to build up something that you can invest. And who knows, maybe eventually down the line, what you invest can have enough returns to actually make your money work for you. You know, pagdating sa investment kasi ako mismo, I wasn't really that knowledgeable about it. It's really my friends who were a little bit more savvy than me who taught me how to invest. There would be times when, you know, lalabas kami and they would say, oh pare, ako na manglilibre kasi yung mutual funds ko, nakakuha ko ng, you know, it's good this month, kaya I'm going to manglilibre ako sa barkada. I'm like, ano ba yung mutual funds na yun? And at that time, I was only putting my savings in the bank. I'd always saved though since I was a young boy, but it was only in the past 3 or 4 years when I really started looking at other investment options. And it actually fits eh. So whether you're investing in a new business or you're risking enough to actually set something up, or you just want your money to work for you and you're looking into mutual funds or getting to these financial instruments, malaking bagay eh, that the things that you save are eventually able to work on their own, and eventually you can really get some returns from it. So, for our part as a campaign, no, kasi si Pia is really more for life insurance, James is really more with retirement planning, mine is really more about savings and investment. That if you can help us spread the word about savings and eventually about investment, that sana maging positive siya sa Pilipino, yung pagtitipid. Kasi kadalasan, yung mga nagtitipid sa atin, yung pa yung alaskado, di ba? Masyado mo kuripot pa, wakan yan, di ba? And that's the truth, eh, ganun talaga yung Filipino mentality. Pero sana, we could actually get away from that. Na every month, and this is actually what my agent had advised to me, every month, you consider your savings like a cost that you put away. No? So, for example, may nakalat ka na may 1,500 ka for your cellphone bill, may X amount ka for your rent, may X amount ka, usually the usual amount you spend for gasoline or for transportation, you could actually put also a percentage to your savings and say, oh, ako 5% or 10% every month, I'm setting it aside. Tapos yung natira, yun yung pwede mo pang gastos. So we're not naman asking you to be, to deprive yourself so much of enjoyment or entertainment. It's really more of just making sure that you know how much is coming in, you know how much is going out, and that every month, you could actually set aside something. And once that becomes a habit, it becomes easier for us to choose options. Many of the people who watch my show, Startup on ANC, a lot of them started out as people who had regular jobs, and then they just felt that they wanted to invest in something that they could call their own. So they would save a little bit every month until they had enough seed capital to invest in a little business or in a micro business. Eventually, that micro business became bigger and bigger, and eventually they left their jobs to really focus on their businesses. So it's the same thing with investments. You save a little bit at a time every time, and eventually you can invest on a regular basis, and hopefully it will come back and help you out. So let me just thank everyone again for spending time with us today. We hope that you'll visit the booth. It's a really nice booth there. Not because they're life-size models of us. Medyo pretty. Be frank, medyo pretty siya ng konti. Saka that's what they call the Hobbit version of Aquino. Parang late niya mga 5'2" lang ata. So, ikaw rin. The Hobbit version of Pia and Bang. So it's not just because of that really, it's because, there's the program is there, there's a simplified way to learn about your finances. And I think the best part is there are people there in Nakastasyon who you can really talk to, and just, no pressure. They won't pressure you to buy anything or get into an investment, but you can just talk to them and tell them about your finances and hopefully get some sound advice. So again, thank you very much. Maraming salamat and good evening to all.